Hello, golfers. Arnold here. As we're getting to the end of this course, we're going to wrap up these next two lessons with what's arguably the most important part of learning golf, and that's the pre-shot routine. Because as we learned in the important concepts lesson, pre-shot routine is how we bring information that we know, the right thoughts connected to the right feelings, to each shot, to the golf course. Knowing everything exactly right doesn't mean anything if we can't bring it to the shot. And how we do that consistently every time is with the pre-shot routine. My pre-shot routine is going to be mine, yours is going to be yours. They're going to be very similar in some ways. Every pre-shot routine has certain elements. Every player's, no matter skill level, has certain elements because there are certain elements, the fundamentals that we all have to know, we all have to bring to each shot. At the same time, every pre-shot routine is going to be slightly different because I've got some things that I'm going to be focusing on. So I'll bring those specifics to my pre-shot routine. And everyone watching this video will have your own things that you're specifically focused on that you'll add to your individual pre-shot routine. So I'm going to walk you through my pre-shot routine as we play a hole. I can't overstate the importance of taking the time, understanding the value of the pre-shot routine. It's very natural to want to get to the ball, stand over the ball, look at the target, look at the distance, become very focused on the ball and the target, and then adjust or make all these calculations while we're standing over the ball about what we have to do to hit the ball to the target. And that is where inconsistency comes from. Because at that point, we're not making swings. We're hitting a round object with a semi-flat object, and we're doing all the things that we've thought of our whole life to hit something. Very rarely does that work well for us, and it certainly won't be consistent. When we're able to bring a pre-shot routine, a solid pre-shot routine, to each shot, we're able to bring consistency because we're making the same swing, generally speaking, over and over. We're changing variables that are static, meaning they're not moving, versus dynamic, which is making those changes on the fly. We make those static changes to our setup, sometimes to our grip, to our alignment, ball position, our posture, and then we make the same swing. We are attaching feelings to the right thoughts. So we're not thinking our way through that swing, we're feeling our way through that swing. It's the pre-shot routine that helps us think the right things at the right time and attach those thoughts to feeling so we can make a swing that is about a second and a half of feels. So let's get to it. We're going to walk through a hole, maybe two, and then we'll, after that, there'll be forms below that you can use to build your own pre-shot routine. So every shot that I make starts behind the golf ball. I'm looking at my target. I'm evaluating what I have to deal with. Are there any hazards or obstacles I need to be aware of? Where's my smarter miss? Where do I not want to be? And then that's how I establish where I'd like to miss if I'm going to miss. That determines the shot that I'm going to play. So while I'm back here, I'm visualizing my target. So to this shot, I'm going to play just to the center of that fairway. And I'm then going to pick my target line. And then on my target line on the ground, I find my intermediate target. Now I'm going to pick my club. Now this is a par 4, and it's not a particularly tight par 4. There's no reason why I shouldn't play my driver here. So I'm going to play my driver. As I walk from behind the ball to my rehearsal area, I'm focused on my intermediate target. I've forgotten about the actual target because I have it visualized. I've picked my target and I've picked my target line, and then I've picked my intermediate target. So now I can forget about everything out there because, again, I don't want to be focused on hitting the ball to a target. I want to be focused on making a swing. Now I'm connecting to my thoughts that help me make my best swing. Right now, in my own personal game, I'm trying to feel the weight more on my heels as I've progressed over the last couple of years into some other things I was working on. I've noticed my weight getting too far over the balls of my feet, and that doesn't create that stable platform that I need to make solid contact. So as I'm rehearsing my move, I'm feeling my shoulder turn back, I'm feeling the takeaway, feeling that thumb movement, feeling this move down into P6, releasing that club through, feeling that full extension through 6, 7, 8. I feel a finish. I'm visualizing. I aim my club face at my intermediate target. Bring my back foot in, my front foot in. I've got my grip on. I've got my left hand grip. I'm sure that I've checked that my heel is on top. The V is pointing to my right shoulder. I get my right hand on. I check. My right hand V is to my right ear. I get this ball where I want it by adjusting my feet. I take one last look to visualize that hole. I think my swing key, which is, for me, left shoulder starts it. So as I move to play my approach shot, my second shot, I'm doing the same thing. It's a pre-shot routine. It's not a pre-shot sometimes, once in a while, if I remember, if I'm not feeling rushed, if I'm feeling really good about it, if I'm feeling really bad about it. It's a pre-shot routine. I do it every time on every single shot. So I'm again looking at my target. Anything that I need to be aware of as far as hazards or issues. This is fairly straightforward. We've got a bunker out here, a greenside bunker on the right, short right. I've got some fairway bunkers up here to my left. I'm not concerned about any of those because it's a big green. I'm just going to go right at that pin. So again, I get my target line. I've got my target. I establish my target line. Now I find my intermediate target, which is again something on the ground that is a foot to 18 inches in front of my golf ball. That's on my target line. That's how I aim. So I come to my rehearsal area. Again, I've forgotten about anything out there. Everything that matters is now right here. So I'm rehearsing. I've picked my club based on the distance and shot that I need. Now I'm rehearsing the feels, the shoulder turn, the shoulder thumb move, the takeaway. Again, I'm trying to feel my weight more on my heels. I aim my club face at my intermediate target. I bring my back foot in parallel to the leading edge of that club and my front foot in. Now I've established my body line and my target line. Those are the two railroad tracks of the alignment system. I adjust my stance width based on the club. I take one last look at my target. I think my swing key, I visualize the swing I'm about to make. I think my swing key, which is left shoulder starts it, and I swing. A little quick there as well. Now, I pulled both of my first two shots. That's going to happen. That's why I go to the range before I play. Sometimes I'm feeling a little bit quick. Sometimes I'm feeling a little bit late. My ball might draw a little bit more. Some days it might draw less. Sometimes, some days I might be playing a little baby fade. I don't like when that happens, but sometimes it will happen. The thing is if I can connect to how I'm feeling and how I'm swinging it that day, I can play that. If I can maintain my proper fundamentals, I can play that. So I missed this green to the left. I've got a 9-yard chip. So I've already adjusted for my club. I picked my club based on this distance. Again, pre-shot routine starts back here. So what's my distance? 9 yards. What shot is this? This is a chip shot. Now, I'm using my 60-degree wedge. I don't recommend that beginners use that club. I would say a pitching wedge or perhaps an 8-iron, something around there, like in the lesson on chipping. Now I'm connecting here to my technique keys. And the 3 technique keys to the chip are hands forward, weight forward, ball back. There's no reason for me to play anything but my most basic chip. So again, find my target, I'm going right at that pin, get my intermediate target on my target line. I come to my rehearsal area, carefully get my grip, heel on top, V right area, everything's good here. Now I get into the exact position I'm gonna be in when I make this chip, which is hands forward, weight forward, ball back. I'm imagining the ball's back here. Now I'm gonna rehearse the move I have to make this exact length chip. Now I've choked this club all the way down because it's a very short chip. And I'm just rehearsing the move I think I'm gonna have to make that ball go 9 yards. I step to the ball, get the position right, I get into my position I was just in, and I want that same feeling. So I gave it a run. So got about a 3-foot putt here. Now I'm reading this green. I'm seeing, is there anything going on I've got to worry about with this break? Is there a big break? Am I uphill, downhill? I can see here from this placard on the screen that the hole is 2 feet 11 inches away from my ball, and it's uphill 0 feet 0 inches, so it's basically a nice flat putt. So I'm not going to overthink this putt. This is basically a 3-foot straight in putt. I should make this the majority of the time. You should make these the majority of the time. This is just mental. So as I'm back here, I'm connecting to the distance, looking at the distance between my ball and the hole as I'm rehearsing my stroke. Something like this is going to make that go the exact distance that I need. Got my intermediate target based on my target line. I aim my club face at the intermediate target. Bring my back foot in, front foot in. That establishes that body line. That's that second railroad track. Get my feet the right width apart. And I make this putt. So you may have noticed that I did something different in that pre-shot routine for my putt than I did for my drive and my approach or my chip. And that is my rehearsal area for my putt is behind the ball versus when I have all my other clubs, my rehearsal area is to the side of the ball. I'm only connecting to feeling here. And that reason is because I've got many more moving parts here. It's really trying to connect to the feeling. I'm trying to rehearse the feeling when I'm over here. When I'm putting, all I'm trying to do is connect to the distance. It's a very stable, very stationary move with only one moving part really, and that's the shoulders rotating around my spine. So all I'm trying to do in my rehearsal for my putt is envision and feel the length of stroke that I'm going to need to make the ball roll exactly as far as I need it to. I do that from behind the ball because I can look at the distance. I can look at my ball in the hole and let my brain, which is at least for a while until AI becomes, our virtual overlords, our brains are still the most powerful supercomputer on earth. I give my brain the information it needs by looking at the ball in the hole and the distance, and I connect what my brain is seeing, what my body's feeling. That's how we connect to the distance on a putt. That's best done from back here while looking up at the distance between your ball and the hole. That sounds easy. It's not. In the beginning, it isn't easy. So don't be surprised if you try and do that and you find yourself doing this. Look up, look down, make a stroke. Oh, I should be looking up. And then you stop making a stroke, you look back down and make a stroke. You got to do both. Look at the distance and make your stroke because that's how you learn the feel of the stroke that you're going to need to make your ball roll the exact distance you need to roll. Not don't be long and don't be short, because that leaves a huge area where our brain can do exactly what we ask it to. If I had that 3-foot putt and I said, don't be short, if I hit it 10 feet, my brain, my little Arnie, my subconscious has done what I asked it to. He made me not short, but I'm way long. Okay? We need to be connecting to the exact distance. That's best done from behind the ball in your putting pre-shot routine. So here we are at Paynes Valley, number 4. It's a par 5. So Process starts over again. My pre-shot routine begins back here. I'm looking at this hole, I'm looking at what I've got to work with. Any issues? I see slopes down and there's tall grass to the left. I see trees on the right. I see a fairway bunker out there at about 260 yards or so. So I'm concerned about really keeping the fairway. I'll go right at that fairway bunker and try to bring that ball a little back to the left. So I get my target line, my intermediate target, move to my rehearsal area. Again, I'm lining up approximately even with where I'm going to be once I'm over the ball, based on my target line and my intermediate target. Now I'm rehearsing the feel. I'm trying to feel the swing. Again, individually, weight on my heels. Generally, the shoulder turn, the thumb, the swing plane, the proper wrist set and release through the ball, the timing of it. Aim my club face, back foot, front foot, get my stance width, make any adjustments I need. I'm checking the distance between my body and my hands. Make my swing key, left shoulder starts it. So I held on to that one a little bit, meaning I just, once I started my release, I just wasn't fluid with it. And right through the impact, I just held on a little bit, trying to do a little too much and using hand-eye coordination instead of just trusting my swing. Probably a result of me being a little early on my last two swings, which is okay. So now I'm starting over. Now, I'm in the rough. This is not where I planned to be. So the second shot that I was imagining, I can't play. So now I'm going to see what I've got. I've got 256 to the flag with water to the left. Part of that's going to have to go over water. There's a creek between my ball and the landing area. So smart shot here is going to be to play a layup shot. If you look on the mini map, play a layup shot to right over here somewhere. That'll leave me a nice third shot in. That's the smart shot. So I'm putting this one away because that was based on my imagined, the planned second shot. And I'm going to play the shot that is better course management. So again, my pre-shot routine starts. I'm looking at my approximate target here. I can't see my landing area, but I've got it marked based on some landmarks and trees in the back. Got my target line now, my intermediate target, and I forget about all that. It's up to my rehearsal area. Get my hands on the club properly. I'm feeling what I'm trying to make happen. Aim my club face at the intermediate target, back foot, front foot, get my stance width right, take my swing key, left shoulder starts it, and make that swing. And you guessed it, my pre-shot routine starts over. I get behind my ball, look at the distance. I pick my club based on that distance. I'm evaluating any hazards, any obstacles, anything that would make me do anything other than just a straightforward shot and go right at my target. So again, this is pretty straightforward. There is water between me and the green. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to fly right over that. So it doesn't even exist, right? My ball doesn't care if it's flying over a creek or grass or dirt or mud or sharks or lava or a pit of cannibals. It doesn't matter. The only reason that comes into play is we get afraid of it and we say, don't hit in the water. And then almost invariably we end up hitting it into the water. I'm not deviating from my plan, my routine, which is to play this wedge into the green and be putting on my next shot. So I get my target line, my intermediate target. And I've forgotten about that. Everything that matters is again right here. I get my grip. And I'm feeling the shot I'm going to make. The length of swing, the speed, approximately, because this is a pitch, this is a distance that's not a full club for me, I'm making a pitch. I'm trying to feel the length of swing I need to make this distance happen. I think my swing key, and I swing. So now here again is that deviation between pre-shot routine in my iron swings, in my full swings, pitches and chips versus putts. Because with my putts, I'm going to rehearse behind the ball so that I can give my brain the information it needs to help me make the right length move to produce the exact distance that I need. So first thing I'm going to do is read the green. Now I see that this green is moving from right to left, so that ball is going to curve from right to left. It's got a little bit of break to it. So instead of aiming right at my target, which would make me miss to the left, if I hit my perfect line, it would roll to the left. I'm going to aim out to the right. So I shift myself. Now I've created a new line between me and my new target, which is right of that hole with my ball on it. That's my target line. That is my line. I find my intermediate target. I see that. Now, when I get here, I'm in my putting posture, and I'm visualizing, looking at that distance between my ball on the screen and the hole, letting my brain figure that distance out and help me connect to a swing length that's going to make that ball go exactly 15 feet, 1 inch. I'm seeing it. Every time I make this move, I see that ball roll out there along my line. I see it curve to the hole and fall in. By the time I get up to that golf ball, I've made that putt several times in my mind. I feel like I've got a pretty good attachment to the distance here. So I'm going to step up. I aim my club face at my intermediate target. Back foot parallel to the putter face, front foot, my second line. I get my feet apart, get that ball slightly forward of center. I take one last look to visualize that target line, and then I make that stroke. And we'll take that. So if you all watch golf, you may have heard a commentator say that so-and-so player is playing a very boring round. And that's not an insult. The best players in the world would love to play every time they play a boring round. Because what that means is they're going through their pre-shot routine on their drive, on their first shot. They go through their pre-shot routine, they make a good swing, the ball does what they want it to, they walk to that, they go through their pre-shot routine again, make a good swing, the ball goes where they want it to, if it's an approach shot on par 4, they are putting, they go through their pre-shot routine to putt, they make that ball to the hole or very close, they move on to the next tee. At the next tee, they go through the pre-shot routine, they go to their next shot, pre-shot routine, swing, next, so on and so on and so on. And that's where the consistency comes from, which can be seen as boring, because all we're doing is over and over making swings. Going through the routine, we're making swings. Golf becomes exciting for people watching, less so for people playing, when the pre-shot routine and the plan doesn't go as planned, and I make a bad swing, and I then can't just walk to my ball and execute the plan that I had to start with at the tee box because I've missed that shot. That last hole was an example. I missed my tee shot. I was in the rough. I had some things to consider. It made me change up my plan, and then I adjusted, and I recovered well. That, done over and over and over, can make for an exciting round of golf to watch, but it can make for a grind of a round of golf. I want to play a boring round of golf, and when I do, my scores get pretty low. So the whole point of this is you cannot underestimate how important it is to embrace the pre-shot routine.